Okay, so we look at some of the wider issues of mergers. I mean, a lot of this is going to overlap with stuff we talked about, kind of monopoly and oligopoly and so on. I mean, the obvious, the obvious drawback is that depending on the type of merger, there's going to be an increase in monopoly power. So some of the points that you're going to make are going to be linked to the fact that by firms joining together, we're going to increase concentration within the market, and therefore all of the stuff that we talked about in terms of kind of productive inefficiency and allocative inefficiency and higher prices and so on and so forth, they're going to be relevant to a merger answer. However, there's things that you can do that are more merger specific. The failure rate, for example, that's clearly not going to be great for the economy as a whole. If we allow firms to join together and the net result is that shareholders lose out, then that's going to be bad for profitability, it's going to be bad for dividends, it's going to be bad for shareholders, bad for tax revenue, bad for the economy as a whole. And likewise, you might want, who is doing the taking over? You might want to think about kind of ownership issues. So there's been a number of stories in the news about UK firms being taken over by companies from other countries. And again, I mean, that doesn't in and of itself necessarily matter, but it means that inevitably kind of UK firms owned by UK owners, they're going to prioritise UK investment, whereas if it's owned by owners from other countries, then maybe that's going to be less significant to them, kind of supporting investment in the UK. The profits are going to be repatriated, paid abroad, and so on. So there are just things that you can do that aren't just monopoly power, that you can talk about when you talk about mergers, in addition to some of the, you can also leverage some of the points that we've made elsewhere about the drawbacks of mergers. On the other hand, from a macro perspective, you would expect you've got scale. If they work, you've got scale. You've got dynamic efficiency. If they're successful, creating higher levels of profitability, therefore feeding into exports and growth, which we talked about before. Another argument that you sometimes hear is that it's going to be, it'll lead to weak firms are the ones that get taken over. So zombies, it's the assets of zombies get bought out. So in other words, mergers are part of an efficient market. Bad businesses, they make losses. They get taken over by other firms who then use their assets more successfully, which is a very attractive argument. Except that the research suggests that the reality is that it's small, innovative, successful companies are the ones who actually get taken over. So we want to be slightly careful. So it's an interesting argument, that as a firm, if a firm struggles, doesn't make enough profit, its share price drops and it gets taken over. That can happen, but often also what happens is that small, young, innovative, successful firms, they get bought out by bigger firms who want to reduce competition or steal their ideas and so on and so forth. So a lot of this is going to overlap with the stuff we talked about with monopoly and oligopoly, but try to put in some things that make it more specifically merger relevant.